Okay.
I'm Dr. Earl Beecher, your host, and our guest is Mary Hart, a recording artist. Mary, you opened the show singing a song called Heat Wave. I seem to remember hearing that from somewhere. Where have I heard it before?
It was first recorded in the 1950s by Martha and the Vandellas, and then it was re-recorded again by Linda Ronstadt.
How long ago did Linda do it?
That was, I believe, in the 1970s, late.
So it has been a hit twice.
Yes.
Are you intending to record that, release that in the near future?
Yes, I'm going to have an album coming out, and I want the song on there. I picked the song because it's one of my favorite ones. It's been a hit twice, but oldies are coming back revised and making it. So why not?
So why not, indeed?
So, yes, and it is coming out on my album, and that's on More Rhythm.
More Rhythm Records.
Yes.
I understand you have some singles out on another label, too.
On Torchlight.
Torchlight. We'll talk about those in a few minutes. First,
Okay.
I'd like to get more of your background. At what age did you begin singing?
Professionally, or just I've sang all my life, so I would say I started taking voice lessons when I was 12. My mother gave me voice lessons, and I got pushed into opera because my father loved it, my mother loved it, and I just loved to sing, so I started singing opera. And I did pick up a little Italian, a little Spanish, and a little bad habits, because see now
you
can't carry your operatic into what I like to do now. And I found that working with the band, which I found out later, that I enjoy the full sound of a band, other than you only have a piano when you're singing opera. So, but you do learn to use your diaphragm, which is good for you, whereas a microphone, it takes away, because you don't need your diaphragm with the microphone. You can control it, the volume.
I see.
So that does hurt it.
So with opera, is that because you tend to get this sort of push or
You're trained to use your muscle, your diaphragm.
And you don't use that in singing pop?
I don't need it. In fact, when I started singing with the band and using a microphone, and I was using my diaphragm on top of using the microphone, you know, the Bob Chance I started singing with, he says, tone it down. He kept turning me down all the time, you know. You're too loud.
You're too loud. You're drowning out the orchestra.
So I had lots of volume. So now I found that I'm out of opera and I'm into pop music, and I use the microphone for everything. And if I sing on my own, it's hard to, because my muscles kind of slack from not using it. So I don't get the volume without my microphone anymore. I could get it back, but
I guess with a few breathing exercises and things, you could bring it back pretty fast. Do you think this is a good way to begin for any hopeful young performer, say, be trained in opera first or in classical and then go into pop, or should they start with pop?
Well, Pat Benatar was an opera singer, and she went into rock and roll, and she's a pop singer now. And it doesn't really matter, you know, you've got your little, you know, ups and downs and anything. So it's just you get an operatic sound when you're singing pop, and it's, you got to take it out, or you can put it in when you're, if I'm singing in a church, you know, I can put it right back in. So
I see.
It's just.
Well, sometimes, does anybody ever use an opera sound in a pop song? Do some of the popular songs lend themselves so that the opera sound is appropriate?
Sure, well, Barbra Streisand, I would say, is your best example, because she studied opera and she can really get into all kinds of songs, and she still uses her opera sound.
Now, when you were taking lessons, you started at the age of 12, and did your mother teach you?
No, I took from a lady named Leona Roberts. She's in the Musical Arts Association of Orange County, and she also teaches at Long Beach State. She's a music teacher there. And
her name again is?
Is Leona Roberts.
Leona Roberts.
Yes.
And you studied with her how long?
For 8 years.
8 years?
Yeah.
Was she teaching you opera?
She was teaching me opera, and we got into light opera, musicals.
And you liked that better?
Some fun, yeah.
Do you have a favorite light opera musical?
I can't remember the name, but it's O mio babino Pablo, mi piace belle belle, fondadre in Porta Rosa. But I can't...
What is that in English?
It means, oh, my beloved father, please do not forsake me. It's an aria.
It's an aria from a regular full...
Yeah.
What do we call it? Fully produced opera, in other words. It's a big one, a heavy. I see. You mentioned the name of Bob Chance. I had him as a guest here recently. In fact, it was Bob that introduced me to you. And you began singing in the pop field with Bob.
Yes. Yes, I used to go to a little club that he'd sing at, and this was when I was 21. Now, I just turned 21, so I wasn't used to the clubs, but when I did find out that I liked that sound and I liked singing with the band, I wanted to get into that. And I found that's where my heart was with the band. You get a real full sound with the band. So I started singing with Bob, and we've been singing together ever since, and now we're recording together.
Mary, what is the feeling you get when singing with the band? Does the band sort of pick you up and carry you along?
It's a lot more fun.
Or just reinforce, or what is it that's fun about it?
You're kind of like a little family, and you all lend and blend together. It's kind of, you know, it's just neat. You have all your little instruments, and it's not just a piano, so it's kind of exciting. And
don't you have more freedom in singing with just a piano and the person sort of follows you, where with a band, everything has to be pre-rehearsed pretty well so that you know exactly what's going to happen when, or it just doesn't work.
You don't even rehearse, though, as much as you do with opera. I can remember rehearsing for hours because you have to have your speech correct and the tone perfect and everything perfect, where you can get away with things when you sing with the band because the keyboard or the guitar or the bass guitar will kind of cover you up a little bit. And the drums, you know, they all blend.
Do you have more of a freedom feeling with the band?
Oh,
then?
yeah, because you can be yourself. You're not worried about your speech and all those other things. You're just having fun, and you can flow with it and sing and move and have a really good time. Well, I didn't have any fun when I was singing with my voice teacher, right?
I see. I understand that you have a record out now called Angel Eyes, which was composed by Bob Chance.
Right.
And it's getting quite a bit of play around the country.
It's getting excellent airplay in Europe. In Europe. And Needles, California.
Needles, California.
And Bullhead, California. I have to plug them.
Some of the outlying areas of California are starting to play it. And also I understand that Philadelphia, back east, it's getting airplay.
It's getting lots of airplay there.
Okay, let's pause and let you sing that for us
All
now.
right.
We're back. Mary Hart, recording artist, just finished singing Angel Eyes for us. Mary, tell me about the song itself. Why did you decide to record that particular tune? What is it about it that you liked?
I like the words, and a good friend of mine, Bob Chance, is a writer, and I like the way he writes.
He brought it to you, and you said,
yes,
hey, I like the message?
Like the song and the whole bit, yeah. So I liked it.
Is this, this is more of a ballad now. Heat Waves, the song with which you opened the show today, was much more upbeat. Do you prefer singing the ballads?
No, not necessarily. I like to have fun too. So.
You don't think the ballads are fun?
Well, you know, they're not, yes, they are in their own way, but singing Heat Waves is a little different, fun in its own way too, so.
So either one, just, you have more freedom with an original tune than you do with something that people are familiar with, such as Heat Wave.
Right.
And I guess you enjoy that because you can put your stamp on it, so to speak.
True.
Now, the type of music you like to sing then is in the pop vein. How would you describe the music you sing, your special favorite? Easy listening?
Yes, I think it'd be easy listening, pop.
Mellow?
But I hate to get categorized into a certain thing because I really like it all.
There have been other artists that were categorized who broke out of it. We mentioned Linda Ronstadt before.
Right. Pat Benatar, and then, you know, no one could believe that she'd been into opera. So it's kind of neat. I keep going back to her because she's the only one I can think of that's ever been that way too, you know.
Yeah. Well, Andy Williams started out as a rock singer and then went to ballads.
How funny.
But you're taking the opportunity, working with a smaller record company, to record the things that you feel right about rather than getting categorized.
Right.
I see. Tell me some stories about the recording business. What's it like to go into the recording studio? How do you get started? How did you get started?
Well, good friend of mine. Anyway, he owns his own recording studio.
Yes.
But I was working at another recording studio also, and I was recording demo tapes for recording artists. And he happened to take me up to a recording studio in Hollywood to show me the ropes and show me around. And it's a house front. Most of your recording studios are nothing but a house that are sitting in a residential block, so that nobody knows that people that, you know, might be famous or might not, or whoever, are going in and out of there. It's just a front. So he took me inside, and it's a big recording studio. And he says, this is where Kenny Rogers records his songs. I said, oh, really? How neat. I was thrilled to be there, you know.
Did you ever meet Kenny Rogers?
No, not in person, no.
I see, okay.
And so I was looking around, and they had the board, the recording, the board and all that set up. And there was a big long cord that went into the back. And I said, where does that go? Because I looked funny, you know. And he said, come on and I'll show you. And he took me into the back, and it led into the bathroom. And they had the microphone stand all hooked up and set up for Kenny Rogers. And they said that's where he records all his songs
in the
because
bathroom?
of the acoustics, because of the sound.
Well, I've heard of people singing in the shower.
Right. Well, it's the same thing. You've got, you know, the sound, the acoustics. So it was kind of funny. I couldn't believe it.
So some of the big stars use whatever it takes to get the right sound.
That's what he prefers to do.
I wonder how they ever discovered that the bathroom had the best acoustics in the building.
They probably discovered that a long time ago by singing in the shower, you know.
Singing in the shower.
Yeah.
And
that's where I practiced my opera.
In the shower.
Yeah.
You said that this is how you got started because you were working in a studio doing demo tapes. Didn't you discover a lot of really good new material that way?
Yes, I did, but I was just recording it. I was making so much per hour to record it for other recording artists.
So you must be able to read music and sight read very well.
Yes, if I keep it up, but you forget. If you don't do something all the time, then you forget. So it would take me about half an hour to remind myself, you know, but I could, once you learn something, you always pick it right back up.
What kind of accompaniment do they use on those demo tapes?
They use a guitar and bass, drums.
Not necessarily a piano each time, though.
Oh, no, no.
Now, your new single has a song that I believe has been recorded before, Happy Birthday, Baby.
Right, by the Tune Wavers.
The Tune Wavers.
The Tune Wavers. Again, I like that song because was one of my favorite ones. My brother and sister are 10 and 11 years older than me, so I grew up listening to nothing but oldies but goodies. That was in when they were a teenager.
I see.
So I've always loved that. And that was one of my favorite songs, and I decided, well, since everyone is revising oldies, why not? You know?
And so that's now out on Torchlight Records.
Right.
And you're going to sing that for us now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Happy, happy birthday, baby. Although you're with somebody new, thought I'd drop a line to say that I wish this happy day could find me beside you. Happy, happy birthday, baby. No, I can't call you my baby. Seems like years ago we met on a day I can't forget, 'cause that's when we fell in love. Do you the names we had for each other? I was your pretty, you were my baby. How could we say goodbye? Hope I didn't spoil your birthday. I'm not acting like a lady, so I'll close this note to you with good luck and wishes too. Happy, happy birthday, baby.
I'm interviewing Mary Hart, a recording artist. Mary, you just sang Happy, Happy Birthday, Baby. Who recorded that? Do you recall? You said it was
The Tune Weavers.
The Tune Weavers.
Right.
About when?
In the 1950s.
Again, this song is almost 30,
30, yeah.
30 years old. I can remember it. My children used to listen to that one.
It's a great song, yeah.
And you picked that one because it was one you remembered that you liked.
Right.
You're working on a new album. Have you picked some other songs that are going to go into the album?
Yes, but I'll keep that a secret. It's kind of under wraps right now.
Under wraps. So we'll all have to wait and see what happens. That sounds kind of exciting. Who are some of your favorite singers? You've mentioned several people that were trained in opera and so forth, but who are your personal favorites when you just want to sit and listen?
I would say Barbra Streisand, maybe that's on the opera end of me, and I like Lionel Richie, and maybe that's on the other side of me. But I like them both. They're my two favorite singers.
What do you like? Let's talk about Barbra for a minute. What do you like about her? The opera fact?
She has a fabulous
She's always
voice.
on pitch.
Right. I like perfection, actually.
And she's there
She's
because
there.
she pays careful attention to the details.
Right.
I remember one time a friend of mine who worked in recording studios said that they enjoyed working with Barbra because they never had to worry about the volume meter. She could sing high, low, whatever, but she always kept the volume within the range herself. They didn't have to ever monkey with the dial or anything. That she was very conscientious about her singing.
She's great. Yeah.
Now, what about Lionel Richie? What is it about him that you particularly like?
He has a way about him that he feels a song that I don't see many singers do that. He just has a special way about him and the way he sings and he sounds.
Are you able to do that also? To feel the song?
Oh yeah, I'm trying to.
If you sing the same song night after night, do you still feel it?
If you let yourself.
You sort of throw yourself into the song, so to speak.
You can, yeah, but you can throw yourself out too. You get into moods like everybody gets into moods. So if you want to get into it, you can. And if you nobody's perfect. Sometimes you have to hit yourself on the head and say, get with it.
Wait a minute, this one's a sad song. Quit laughing.
Yeah,
through
right.
it.
I've done that.
Have you really?
Oh, yeah.
When?
Yeah, well, when I've sang on stage with Bob a few times, somebody in the
with
audience
Bob, yes.
in the nightclub or something will say something funny and make me laugh, and I can't stop laughing, and the whole song I'm laughing, so they just keep playing. The band never quits,
Tell me, when you're singing a sad song and laughing through it, does it sometimes put a new dimension on the song that makes it work?
Oh, yeah, because everybody laughs, and that works too, They just get into the laughing act of it.
I see. All right. So you are now in the process of doing an album. Are you appearing anywhere currently?
No, not right now. I'm just
except
in
with
the
Bob and occasionally in the
right.
recording studio primarily at the present time.
Yes, it's a very busy recording.
That sounds like very exciting. And the fact that some of your records are getting airplay now around the East Coast, here in the West, and also in Europe.
Yeah, it's thrilling.
You never know where it might lead. It could be very exciting. Well, Mary, I want to thank you for being our guest today, and I'm going to ask you to sing one more song, and that's Baby, I'm Yours. Is that an original, or is that an old tune again?
That's an old tune.
It is an old tune.
That's
Who
going on
recorded
my
that
album.
one? Do you remember who recorded that initially?
No.
You don't?
No, I'm guilty of that.
It's just one that you like.
Yeah.
And now, would I call this a ballad?
Yeah, I guess
Is it a sad song, a slow song, an upbeat song?
It's kind of a ballad, upbeat.
Maybe a love song, huh?
Right.
Thank you for being our guest, Mary
Thank you.
Hart.
Thank you.
Baby, I'm yours. Baby, I'm yours. And I'll be yours until the stars fall from the sky. Yours until the rivers all run dry. In other words, until I die. Baby, I'm yours. Baby, I'm yours. And I'll be yours until the sun no longer shines. Yours until the poets run out of rhymes. In other words, until the end of time. I'm gonna stay right here by your side. Do my best to keep you satisfied. Nothing in the world could drive me away.